Hi guys, it's me. This is my GED slash ASVAB video. I'm gonna try to make it quick as possible. So the GED, it's an equivalency test for those who weren't able to finish high school or became too old to finish high school, or if you moved around a lot. It does not necessarily mean that you are dumb. It does not mean that you're a bad person. You know, when life gives you lemonade, gotta come with lemons, right? Whichever way that's being said. Um, Research it on GED.com or on Google. There are 4 test subjects: English, social studies, science, and math. So what I did was I had an ASVAB book. So that's where I got the basis of everything, and it helped tremendously. I spent $30 getting the GED book, and I had the ASVAB book, but it was like the same stuff, basically. So if you already have an ASVAB book and you're contemplating on trying to enlist with the GED, my suggestion is don't go out and waste your money, because if you have kids like I do, it's kind of costly to spend money on the GED. Now, you go online and you sign up. You have to sign up with the name that's on your ID. They don't care if it's on your social or if it's different. My ID has my maiden name on it still. So I had to sign up under my maiden name. And then I had to book the test dates. Now, with studying, I studied my ASVAB book. Now, if you don't have an ASVAB book and you're just going for general GED, then purchase the GED book, or you can pay for practice tests. And they're like $12 and change a piece on GED.com, depending on where you live at. Because out here in Texas, it's $135 for the GED test and like $12 and some change for the subtest, the practice test basically. Now, here's a couple tips going down. Study diligently, take it serious because it is a hard test. My mother-in-law was a teacher for years, and the social worker, and she said all her students were given the GED test back then, and not one of them could pass it. Not one of them could pass it. They could pass their high school exam, but they could not pass the GED. Because the GED kind of has college prep materials, and it all depends on what test you get. Because I took the math test 3 separate times, and they all had completely different questions. So it's not like you can find the answers to anything because it's not going to really be there. But on a rare occasion, I did find the same question that I had on 2 previous tests. So I looked out with that, but I really studied. Tip, don't try to study on an empty stomach. Get different gum, and when you're studying a certain part, chew mint. When you move on to the next, chew strawberry. When you move on to the next, chew cherry. Because they let me take gum in. I don't know about anyone else, but I took my gum in, and that was my memory trick. Eating chocolate helps you retain a lot of information as well. Now, the day before, get some sleep, because I didn't get sleep. I had a newborn, and a 1-year-old, and my husband coming to work, going to work and coming home, and I had to take care of the house. So I didn't really get that time to study, like I should have. But because when you're a new mom, you sleep when your child sleeps. That's like the best tip I was ever given. So whenever BB went to sleep, I went to sleep, because Jacob would go to sleep and have his nap at the same time, and she napped frequently. And then so I didn't really have that much time. When my husband came from work, I had to, make dinner and pick up his clothes and stuff like that. And then he gave me my study breaks. So if you have the time, study and get some sleep. Getting sleep is an amazing thing. I didn't get any sleep, unfortunately. I think in a good 3-day period, I got about 4 hours of sleep total. And I had to take my GED test plus my ASVAB, which was an hour away. So, day before, sleep. Don't study before you go to sleep. That's not a good study technique. Now, the day of, the morning of, not many places will allow you to take the GED. They'll complete the test at one location. They have to divide it because you're sitting there for so long. The tests are very long. So make sure you eat a nice hearty breakfast, something that's going to energize you and not put you to sleep. Like, don't eat a Southern country breakfast like sausage, eggs, bacon, grits. Because I did that and it made me fall asleep. I was at the desk like this for like 10 minutes before they told me it was my break time. And then it does time you. So it does that as well. So you can always go on to the next question, and then at the very end it has the list of all the questions, and anything you don't answer will say unanswered, and then if you can flag a question that you didn't want to answer until the very end, like the hard questions, then it shows the flag on what you need to answer and how much time you have left. Pace yourself. Don't rush through it, because I did that and I ended up having an hour left on one test and I failed because I was trying to rush. My kids, you know, they were outside and Blythe needed to be fed, so she ate every 2 hours because I breastfed, so I had to keep taking my little breaks between the tests, and that didn't work out very well. So what I learned my last time taking the math test, I had to pace myself. That was one big thing. I had to pace myself. Now, obtaining results. Now, they no longer mail you your GED certificate or your results anymore, really. What they do is they give you your results online and via email. So, I got my results like 20 minutes after I took each test. And then I think the same day I took my last math test, I logged into GED.com and it said, "Congratulations, graduate." And I was like, oh my god, I cried because it was a big step. I wasn't very fortunate to go through school like I wanted to, you know, having my son young, and then being in various homes. So it was different for me. I'm not stupid or anything, you know, I'm pretty smart. So you obtain your results and you print out your own certificate. Now, depending on where you go, they will have a graduation ceremony. I had two opportunities to graduate. I believe I had another one at Marshall, not at the Texas. It was at one of the junior colleges in Marshall, Texas. I got an invitation to graduate, but I went to the one closest to me. So I had three invitations to graduate. I got a cap and gown, and I had my tassel. Oh, I gotta get it. And I had my tassel, so I was able to walk across the stage. And I swear I was hot shit. Now, if you fail, you have 2 more opportunities to take the test before you have to wait 90 days. I did fail the math because I was so tired. I went all over East Texas to take my test. I went to 4 different colleges in one day to take 4 tests, and then when I failed, I got right back online and bought another test to take. Didn't give myself any time to study. Drove 30 minutes from where I was living down south and took that test again, and then I failed, and then I got home finally. There was a lot of traffic because there was a wreck on the road. God bless those people. So I was so tired driving around, and I got home and I booked another test, and it was a Friday, so I couldn't take another test until Monday morning. And I think that was a blessing in disguise because I actually had the weekend. My husband took over, thank him, bless him, and I pumped a bunch of milk, so my daughter was taken care of as well. So I had nothing but opportunity to sleep and study, and I took my own advice and I did not sleep I did not study that Sunday. I studied all Saturday, and then I didn't study Sunday, and then Monday morning I went to go take the test, and then we were chit-chatting, and I finally felt good about it. you know, I used all the time that they gave me to take it, and it felt so great. So if you fail the first time, don't give up. I mean, it was discouraging because I put myself on such a high standard, but I'm not one to quit when it doesn't go my way. So I passed and I got my GED, and I was like, woo! ASVAB. The ASVAB is a test that you take for military entrance. I believe it's, oh, I cannot remember the acronym for it. I've been studying and planning so much. Um, I'll explain to you why in another video. But it's basically the test to see if you can get into the military. And back when I took it, I think the lowest score, it's kind of hard to explain because I'm losing my track of thought. I'm not good with videos. It's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's a, that was my son. It's a multiple choice test, administered by the United States Military Entrance Processing Command, used to determine qualifications for enlistment in the United States Armed Forces. That's basically it. So, in other words, can you get into the military? Take this test. You can pass or fail. Wait 30 days. Try it again. Now, I had a GED, so I really didn't have... I had a GED, so I didn't have many options. If you try to enlist with a GED, you need to score minimum of a 65. Now, the book I had, the Kaplan ASVAB book, for 2015, it said you needed a 33 to get in minimum. And then the Marine Corps, I believe you needed a 50 for GED. And then for the Army and Navy, you needed a certain score. I cannot remember. Plus, you know, a higher score than everybody else, plus 15 semester credits. But now it's completely different. It's completely different, which I confirmed with my recruiter. Now, I took that last fall, so you're going to have to ask your recruiter about it, for the current standards. Now, they do not accept a lot of people with a GED. Luckily, I passed the score I needed, so I qualified for a lot of jobs, and it was pretty good knowing that I had that power. I got the power! Power! Sorry, that was corny. Okay, now researching the ASVAB, there are many different search engines, Bing, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, that you can search the ASVAB on, and they have many different sites that you can study vocabulary, and you can get a quick view of what it's like. Talking to your recruiter, you need to talk to your recruiter to find out what the scores needed for you, particularly for the branch that you are trying to enlist in. For the Air Force, it was a score of 65 and higher with the GED, and then you had to wait for approval because it was a waiver, and you had to wait for an approval by, you know, the CC. Get a date for the test. You have to, you know, go to your recruiter's office, Armed Forces Center, and there will be this little computer that you take, like basically a practice ASVAB on, and that's a lot. For some reason, it was harder than the actual test. So, you know, and it's more scrutinizing. So just add a few points on there when you take the actual test. And I think I got a 68. Ooh, I don't even remember. But I have been really tired. Having a newborn and a toddler and a husband and trying to study for all this stuff is very tiring, but it's all worth it in the end. Now, like I said, the score required for GED recipients, I will repeat, 65 minimum. So study your patootie off, because it needs to be done. Now, the Marine Corps, it used to be you had to get a score of 50 with the GED, and then the minimum score was 31 or 33 or something like that, but then it changed. So you have to confirm that with your recruiter. Now, after you pass the ASVAB, now when I went to MEPS, when I went to MEPS and they had, the little computer, and it had a keyboard with A, B, C, D, and E, and then a help button, and then the space bar, and then he gave you pencil and pen, and he typed in his little code, and then you put in your information so you can start taking your test. Um, and that's basically what you did. And then at the end, this paper prints out, and it'll tell you what score you got. Now, he can choose to tell you what score you get, but you can't open that envelope until you get to your liaison. Um, I know when I was like a few points down the first time, which was really upsetting for me. So I had to wait 30 days to take it when I have plenty more time to study. And then when I got there, the guy looked at my score, and he looked at me, and he's like, "You know you scored pretty high, right?" I said, "I know, I have a GED." He's like, "Oh, okay." And so he decided to tell me, because I came in so worried, like my face was flushed, and he decided to let me know after I took my test that I passed for a GED recipient, and I was so giddy. The lieutenant let me out, and I was just walking side by side him, smiling ear to ear, and everybody's looking at me. They're like, "Did you do good?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir." And I was just standing there, and I was so excited waiting to be let out, and I could not stay still. When I got to the front desk, I told the gentleman there, I was like, "I passed," and we had been hoping, because I've been there like twice. So we like high-fived, and he congratulated me. He's like, "You need to get back here to process, after you get approved." So I had to wait for the Air Force liaison, and I showed him the envelope, and he opened it, and I was like, I have to wait for, I forgot what he told me, but I told him I had to wait for my recruiter to submit the paperwork to see if I would get approved. And he's like, "Oh, it goes through me, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're already approved, so you don't have to worry." And I was like, "Kachuga, kachuga!" I was pretty happy. Then what my old recruiter did before I got switched over, because he got deployed, I got a list of jobs, and I decided to cross out all the jobs I could not do because I was a female, for one. And then I crossed out all the jobs I couldn't do because I didn't have certain classes in my transcripts. And then I crossed out certain jobs for just high school graduates. Luckily, I'm kind of tall, so anything with a height requirement, I was okay. So I just basically eliminated anything I couldn't do for my ASVAB scores. I'll give you my composite scores later on. They're not as high as many of you guys fresh out of high school have, but for me, it was a great goal. So that video is going to come later. Thanks for holding in with me. If you have any questions, write them in the comment box down below. You can like this video, you can unlike it. If I need to edit anything or add anything, I will certainly make another video. Let me know. Bye, guys.